People checking in. You want this line up?
Yes. Oh, wait.
Good evening, everyone. We're just waiting for the other board members to hop on, so bear with us.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Stacy.
It takes a while for my audio to pick up.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Congratulations.
Thanks. Looking so forward, and you are retiring.
I'm sorry about that. I would have really enjoyed working with you.
We would have continued to have a hoot, right?
Yes, we would have continued, picked up where we left off. For sure. I'll have to come by and say hi and check in and see how you're doing.
You will, absolutely.
Catch up. I'd love to hear about your daughter and how things are going.
Okay, so it looks like we're ready to get started. This meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and is open to the media and public. Notices were duly posted and the meeting was advertised in the Hunterdon County Democrat and Courier News. Formal action may be taken. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ray Egbert.
Here.
Carol Hampel.
Here.
Robin McKalen.
Here.
Carolyn Pogorski. Andrew Saunders.
Here.
Thomas Wallace. Eric Zwirling.
Here.
Anna Shin.
Here.
Laura Simon.
Here. Can we stand for the flag salute, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
For one should stand,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our June 9th board meeting. It's nice to see everyone here. Tonight, we will honor the extraordinary efforts of our Governor Teachers of the Year and bid farewell to our retirees. This evening is a special occasion where we recognize the accomplishments of our staff. We wish we could have done this event in person, but like many of the events over the course of the spring, we're going to do our best and give each of our honored guests recognition and praise for hard work and dedication to our district. At this time, I'd like to start our program by introducing Dr. Ann DeRosa, Principal of White House School, to honor our first Governor Educators of the Year, as well as our first retirees.
Thank you. This year, White House School's Governor's Educator of the Year is Mrs. Jennifer Kostolansky. Jen has had a lot of excitement recently. She is the mother of 2 grown twin daughters, and she's about to welcome a new baby boy. So she has much to celebrate in addition to her Teacher of the Year award. Jen intuitively knows what children need and how those dynamic needs change. She was nominated by parents of her kindergarten students, and one mother wrote about how her son came to school suffering from separation anxiety and strategies Jen put in place to help him. Some of them included giving him a special signal to communicate with her. She has a calming corner in her classroom, so she would let him go off and decompress if he became frustrated. And she would even watch him, and if he was on the verge of a meltdown, she would let him do a special errand so he could leave the room and not cry in front of his peers. So she really knows what children need. When it comes to instruction, she knows how to structure lessons that are motivational and intellectually engaging at the same time. I formally observed her in October, and I wrote, it was one of those times when I saw this in action, I wrote, students were so busy having fun that they could not have noticed the high level of academic rigor in which they were immersed. So finally, Jen's a teacher who values children and she empowers them to become independent. She works with the youngest learners, and I would like to conclude with words that Jen wrote when she was asked to reflect on her philosophy of education for the county. She stated, "It is truly a privilege to witness my students achieve goals that I have set for them, but more importantly, those that they have set for themselves." Congratulations, Jen. You are a natural teacher who truly knows how to nurture children. Thank you. I'll continue. That our Governor's Educational Service Professional of the Year is Mrs. Sarah Grisenda. Sarah is our school psychologist as well as our special education case manager. Sarah's competent, easy to work with, and always ready to pitch in. She can be counted on to run our special education program, but in addition, she plays a key role on our crisis management team when we're brainstorming safety and security measures to make the building a better place. In addition, she always eagerly joins in to help facilitate any big event or initiative that we're embarking on. Sarah is an advocate of children. She's a partner with parents, and to the staff, she's a mentor, a team player, and a friend. She was nominated for this award by one of her colleagues, and that teacher wrote, "Sarah really knows her students. She makes sure that students are placed in classrooms that will ensure that they reach their greatest potential in the least restrictive environment." And the teacher goes on to explain that when concerns arise, Sarah always does her best to problem solve and generate solutions to position children for success. And I agree that Sarah is a problem solver. And when I debriefed with her after an INRS meeting, she shared with me the 3 questions that she keeps in mind during those meetings. But I think I know Sarah, and it's more like her life approach, and I think we could all benefit from the same frame of mind. She asks herself, number 1, what is the issue? Number 2, how significant is it? And number 3, what can we do about it? Finally, Sarah embraces lifelong learning, and she concluded her philosophy of education by remarking, "As educators, there's always something more to learn." I think that's well said, Sarah, and Thank you for your unfaltering commitment to our school and to our students. Thank you. And that takes me to, sorry. We have one retiree. That is Miss Karen Kozel. Karen, everyone at White House School loves you, and we put something special together that you're going to see tomorrow. But Karen began her career 36 years ago when she became a teacher in 1984. It's been an amazing journey. Karen, over the years, she's been so flexible and open to change that she has seen herself pass through many of our schools. But we have been lucky enough to have her return to White House School, which is where she began her early years. If I had to describe Karen in one word, it would be meticulous. Karen's meticulous in everything that she does. If you've seen her gym, if you've seen her supply closet, if you look at her white sneakers, you'll never see a scuff on them. And in addition to that, she washes her dog's blankets and bedding several times a week. If you know her, you know that about her. But most of all, Karen's meticulous because mediocrity is not acceptable to her. And whenever she does a job, she does it well. And I found out later when we began our online learning experience that Karen was having computer difficulties and connecting issues where she lives. And because she's meticulous and detail-oriented, she put what she needed to post on a thumb drive, and she would drive over to the district supervisor, Sarah Pouch's house, to have it uploaded and formatted so it could be posted, because she didn't want our students to have an uninterrupted experience. She didn't complain out of frustration because that's just who she is. This year, I felt honored to be the one to conduct her formal final observation in her esteemed career. And some of the words I wrote I'll share with you. I wrote, Karen, you are an inspiration to all. You have done amazing work at you have a tremendous presence, unmatched energy, and thirst for new knowledge. And finally, I went back into Karen's personnel file and I found a note that parents wrote 25 years ago, and I'd like to share it with you because I think this note says it all. We appreciate more than words can express your influence, teaching manner, and skills that have helped to mold our child into the fine athlete that she is. I can still remember when she came home from White House on a spring day and told me that you had been working with her on her catching skills and that you mentioned that you couldn't wait to work with her in Reddington School. I don't think any of us actually realizes how many children are changed with just a word of encouragement from us. What would our kids be without the discipline and the you can do it attitude that builds confidence and self-esteem? We send our best wishes and prayers for your continued successful career. That's how they ended their note. So Karen, these parents knew how extraordinary you were back then, just as we know today. Congratulations. We hope that you look back on us fondly, but may the best adventures still await you. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce Mrs. Kristen Higgins. She will be presenting the honorees from Three Bridges School.
Kristen, you have to unmute.
I did such a good job. I'm sorry, everybody. I thought I did. Okay, I'm introducing Christine Lewis, the Governor Teacher of the Year recipient for TBS. She is a two-time recipient of this honor, and it's easy to understand why. The care she gives every child and their parents is exemplary. Her lessons are creative, engaging, and quite theatrical. Her reading of Green Eggs and Ham for a whole school assembly during Read Across America should win her a Tony. I did nominate her. She is the first to volunteer to help in and out of school for all people of our school community at all times. Mrs. Lewis connects with her students, makes learning fun, and is a driving force in what makes TBS a great place to be. Mrs. Lewis, your dedication shines through in all you do, and I thank you for all of your service. My next person to honor for this evening is Mrs. Stephanie Armstrong, our nurse. Her role as school nurse goes far beyond temperature checks, tummy aches, Band-Aids, and ice bags. Who knew that an ice bag cured 99% of all student ailments, right? Mrs. Armstrong is a resource for so many on so many levels. The quality of life is improved for all based on her work, kindness, and creative professional planning. Through research, collaboration, and ingenuity, she works to create a school where health and wellness impact each child's ability to learn, grow, and be healthy. Mrs. Armstrong is thanked for a special program she started 2 years ago. She diagnosed that developing a relationship with a therapy dog would assist our special education students. This program has created joy and positive anticipations for students who are typically reluctant. Thank you, Mrs. Armstrong, for your service. My next speech is for Vera Shiskevich, who is retiring this year. And I will admit that as I was writing this speech, I did start to cry, and I might now too. I would like to congratulate Mrs. Vera Shiskevich on her retirement. She has taught in Reddington for over 40 years, and she began as an instrumental teacher and then spent many years in kindergarten at TBS. And I am so happy for her and her family that she's made this decision. She will now be able to spend more time with her grandson, Nicholas. He has such a wonderful opportunity to learn from an early childhood master who is filled with patience, kindness, and immense amount of knowledge of how children learn. In her retirement letter, she said she hoped she made a positive contribution. And that is one of the biggest understatements. Vera did not only teach kindergartners, she has taught many of our staff members how to teach and how to refine their skills. She was constantly hosting observers from Reddington and districts near and far. For years, we have been sending new and veteran teachers alike to observe the master at work. Each person would leave the room in awe. Vera's teaching techniques and philosophies were shared throughout New Jersey. Think about how many children she positively affected. Those are 3 bridges, yes. Also, the countless students from other classrooms and districts that went away with ideas, motivation, and the realization that what she was doing can be done by them as well. Things that we have learned from Vera. Number 1, how to balance the need for high standards while allowing kids to be kids. Number 2, that Piggy and Elephant make for theater. Number 3, as her team will always attest, if it's not cute, we're not doing it. Costumes are essential for all good lessons. Parents have learned how to give tough, Vera has learned to give parents tough love for the betterment of their children. We also learned from Vera that Diet Coke is poison. And also that the story of George Washington is best told by 5-year-olds. I will miss Vera, my mentor. I will always say all I needed to know to be a principal was learn from a kindergarten teacher. I wish Vera all the best, and I know her husband, Bo, and her children, Larissa and Matthew, are going to greatly benefit from and enjoy having Vera all to themselves. And I am excited to hear how Nicholas is growing. Congratulations, Vera. You will be very missed. And my next retirement also creates quite a bit of emotion. Angela Lott, who has been a kindergarten aide in the district for many years, I'd like to congratulate her on her retirement. And Angela will be missed for many reasons. Number 1, her athletic prowess. She can hit, run, throw, kick, and shoot baskets. And she has taught many children the athletic fundamentals. I know Mr. Dabrowski has always loved Mrs. Lotz in the gym with those kindergartners because she really gets right in there and can help them with their skills. Also, her gardening skills. She is a master gardener. Her work in the school gardens will be missed. She can create an oasis in any environment. We will miss her kindness and support. The top quality of care that she gave every child for all these years has made TBS's kindergarten a nurturing place. We will miss her can-do attitude. Over the years, I have had several special situations that required the assistance of a highly skilled aide. I always knew right away Angela was the lady for the job. She rose to every occasion and met all challenges with a smile. We will miss her commitment to our school, the students, and the teachers. She was always the first to ask if she could offer assistance in any fashion. We will miss her cooking skills. Schools are notorious for having too much food around, and her contributions kept us all eating full and satisfied. We will miss her bounty from her own personal garden. How we will miss her fruits and veggies that kept us all healthy. And I can go on and on. Angela has been a valued member of the TBS family for years. And I am so happy that her family, her husband Frank, and her daughters Kristen, Jenny, and Melissa will have more time with her. And I especially know that Angela is excited to be with her granddaughters, Luna and Aurora. They are especially lucky to have such a vibrant, bright, and loving grandma. Congratulations, Angela. You will be missed. You know, our two retirees are a big loss to our school community, and we do hope that you'll come around and visit. I would like to now introduce Mr. Paul Nigro, principal of Hollenbrook School.
Thank you very much, Kristen. Can we be heard over here? Are we good? Got it? Okay, thank you. First, I want to congratulate Nicole Maraventano. She is the new literacy coach in Reddington. She took this position moving into teaching teachers instead of teaching students. As a parent of one of her previous students, I can attest to how much positive influence she had on my own daughter, who loved having her as her own teacher. And now the teachers of Reddington and my school can attest to how good she is, assisting them with their jobs. Nicole, huge congratulations on being recognized as the Educator Services Professional of the Year for Hollenbrook School. Next, I'd like to acknowledge Mike Rusin. Mike joined our staff just a few short years ago. He has had an immediate impact on our students and teachers. Mike puts all of his energy into his job. He is creative, insightful, and a fun teacher who students love and the staff adores. In addition to his work as a teacher, Mike is always the one who dresses up for all of the holidays. He lends a hand when needed, and he never says no to any request. I'd like to read a paragraph from one of his nomination letters. Mike Rusin is a dedicated and exemplary teacher. He is an asset to both the students and the staff in our school. He enters the school every day with boundless energy and a positive attitude for whatever happens that day. Mr. Rusin goes above and beyond in his role each day. He always makes time for every student that he sees, whether he works with that student or not. They are all important to him, and all are granted his full attention. Mike, congratulations on this well-deserved award. And lastly, I'd like to acknowledge Lil Liskovic, who is retiring this year. I always knew Lil could retire, but I never actually thought she would retire. I can't see HBS without her. She is a part of this building, a part of what makes us a great building with a great staff. With Lil in it, it is more than just her teaching skill. She is the heart and soul that she brings to her every day. Her positive, what can I do to help attitude makes us who we are. Lil Liskovic encompasses everything that makes me proud to be the principal of Hollenbrook School. I am sad to think that next year I won't be able to chat with my colleague, my friend, a member of my family. Lil, you've earned this. Enjoy it. And I know that wherever your travels take you, you will always be a Bobcat. Congratulations and enjoy. And now I'd like to introduce Sharon Moffitt, principal of the middle school.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. So the recipient of the Governor's Educator of the Year Award for RMS is Mr. Bruno Soma. This is his 10th year in Reddington, and he has a very positive impact on our school. Mr. Soma is dedicated and truly loves what he does. In addition to being an amazing financial literacy teacher, he also coaches wrestling and track. He's a positive role model for students, and he inspires a love for learning. You will always see him in the hallways, greeting each child by name and making connections. Mr. Soma is passionate about education and truly cares about the students and his colleagues. We are proud to call him one of our own. Congratulations, Mr. Soma. The recipient of the Outstanding Educational Service Professional Award is Mr. Connolly. He's one of our amazing school counselors. This is Mr. Connolly's 6th year here at Readington, and I'm very proud to say he was one of my hires. Even though he's the 7th grade counselor, Mr. Connolly can be seen all around the school helping any student who needs it. He's part of our school climate team, and he has spearheaded committees to build a positive school culture. He coaches track here at RMS and runs the Ultimate Frisbee Club. Mr. Connolly is very passionate and puts his heart and soul into everything he does. He puts student needs first, but he's also been a very good resource for our staff. We are so lucky to have Mr. Connolly as part of our school community, and we are so proud of him. Congratulations, Mr. Connolly.
in the pool. That doesn't matter.
And now for our retirees. Wendy Bear, retired in January, was our speech language specialist. She worked for the district for almost 20 years, and she was active in the school community. When I think of a word to describe Wendy, the first word that comes to mind is caregiver. Wendy takes care of everyone, including her parents. When my own son was sick, I could always count on Wendy to reach out to check on me and my family. She has a huge heart. We all know she's very proud of her own children, too. Her son, Ian, just graduated from George Washington University, and her daughter, Lauren, attends the University of Pittsburgh. In school, Wendy always demonstrated kindness towards her students and the faculty. She also showed patience. Every day, she worked with her students to help them reach their fullest potential. During her retirement, Wendy will continue to fundraise and be an advocate in the ALS community. She'll also be taking many trips to the beach and spending time with friends. Wendy, you are missed at RMS, and we continue to wish you all the best. Congratulations. So our next retiree is Michelle Castagna. She also retired in January. I'm starting to wonder if she and Wendy had a premonition about the pandemic. Michelle came to Readington Middle School a few years ago, but she's been in Readington for many years. When she arrived at the middle school, she immediately had us laughing. She has a great sense of humor and a great rapport with everyone. She was a secretary to Dr. Moss, our assistant principal, so she was very busy. She loved being creative, so I knew I could always count on her for any task that involved pictures, artwork, etc. Michelle is also so thoughtful. She truly cares about everyone she works with, and it shows every day. For Michelle, family is everything. So it was no surprise that she's spending her retirement taking care of her family. She has a wonderful husband, Jimmy, her daughter, Jamie, and her husband, Pete, and her son, Bill, and his wife, Danielle. She also has 5 grandchildren who she adores, including the newest addition, James, who just turned 1. Michelle is probably busier now than ever. She's definitely one of a kind, and the office is so quiet without her. Michelle, you are missed in Readington, but we wish you the best and all of the health and the good wishes you can possibly have in your retirement. Congratulations. So let's talk about Jerry Fiore. Jerry Fiore, this is hard. It's hard to summarize Jerry in a small amount of time. She's our social worker, the 6th grade case manager, and our HIB specialist. But she's so much more than that. Jerry came to Readington in 2003, and we are so lucky she chose to come here. When you have a question about special ed law, you call Jerry. When you have a question about a student, you call Jerry. And when you just need a good laugh, you call Jerry. She's an advocate for special education students, but also an advocate for all children. She just has a way about her that puts students and adults at ease. Jerry believes in telling it like it is. She's knowledgeable, smart, and personable. I feel lucky that I've connected with her on a personal level, as well as a professional level. I will miss our many talks about our children and our families, Jerry. For her retirement, she plans to travel with her husband, John, and as soon as she's able, she'll be heading to the sunny shores of Florida. Her sons, Chris and Joey, will probably join her too. Jerry's one of the best. RMS just will not be the same without her, but we wish you all the best, all the happiness in the world, Jerry. You deserve it. Congratulations. And our final retiree is Brant Switzler. Brant is a social studies teacher, and to say he's passionate about his content area is an understatement. If I had Brant as my history teacher, I may have developed more of a passion for the content. When you walk into his classroom, he just brings the history alive for students. Brant's been in the district for 26 years and has impacted so many lives. He's looking forward to spending time with his wife and his son, Brant and his daughter, Alexandra. Brant loves, and he also plays tennis, and he's passed on this passion to his son. His daughter just graduated from college and is a talented musician. I have a strong feeling that when Brant retires, he's going to be one of her groupies. When asked about his fondest memories, he said it was working collaboratively with his peers and the Renaissance Fair. When he retires, he plans on gardening, traveling, and being a political activist. Brant, we wish you all the best in your retirement. Thank you for all that you've done for Readington and for the students. Congratulations. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn it back to Dr. Hart.
Thank you, Mrs. Moffett. I have had the distinct pleasure of working with Karen Tucker for the past 2 years. In fact, I also had the opportunity to know her prior because we both worked in special education in neighboring districts. She was here in Readington and I was in Flemington. And now it's time to say farewell to our good friend and colleague. Karen was hired in the district in the summer of 2008. Prior to coming to Readington, Karen held positions as a school social worker, a CST coordinator, and director at the Educational Services Commission, all in Hunterdon County. Her career spans over 30 years in education. In order to celebrate her retirement, I'd like to take a look back at all that she's accomplished here in Readington over the past 12 years. There is literally a laundry list of things that I was able to find where Karen had direct influence. But here's a list of just a few. She helped develop a district-wide I&RS practices. She developed a tracking system for special education referrals. She implemented IEP Direct, a software system for IEPs. She assisted with park readiness and transitioned to NJSLA. She implemented the APA, the Alternate Proficiency Assessment for special education students. She was instrumental in planning for and developing protocols for a school closure during the swine flu pandemic. Little did we know the events that we'd be faced with today. Karen and 2 teachers attended a national conference and presented research on ways to include middle school students as advocates in IEP meetings. The presentation was titled Self-Advocacy, Increasing IEP Understanding in Middle School Students. This was one of a few national conferences where she both attended and presented. She analyzed student data back in the days of NJ Ask to improve special education student achievement. She developed specialized programs for students with special needs, including a behavioral disabilities program, and expanded our autism programs. She took on the responsibility of HIB coordinator when the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights became law, and she implemented the Wilson Reading Program. And honestly, the list goes on. In her 12 years here, Karen worked with 5 superintendents, all of whom had words of praise for Karen's work. In her first year, Jordan Schiff wrote, "You have established yourself as a thoughtful, compassionate, and skilled leader." Karen, this is so true. Later, Bob Gulick wrote, "Due to the nature of her area of responsibility, our contacts were frequent. On every occasion, I found Mrs. Tucker's work and attitude to be one of the highest quality. Yes, Karen frequents the superintendent's office often and is always professional and thoughtful. I know this." Barbara Sargent wrote, "Thank you, Karen, for a very successful year. You have kept a cool head in the midst of many challenging events and displayed professionalism, integrity, and sound judgment." Dr. Sargent even said, "Don't ever leave us." Dr. DeFabis wrote, "The positive, conscientious spirit she brings to her work and her ability to function independently, effectively, proactively, and productively are keys to her success." Finally, my comments to Karen include the following. Mrs. Tucker's role as supervisor of pupil services is a multifaceted role that requires dedication, thoughtfulness, and thoroughness. Ms. Tucker is a consummate professional who embodies all of these qualities and more. She has been a confidant in providing counsel over the course of this year in regard to challenging situations. I can say that Mrs. Tucker is the finest special education administrator I have ever worked with in my career. She is truly value added to the Readington Township School District. Karen, I meant every word. You have made a lasting impression on our school district, and your impact will be felt for years to come. I want to wish you and Roy the best in your retirement. May you have many years of health and happiness to enjoy in all that life has to offer. I'm not sure exactly when we will be able to see each other again, but if you are ever in the area, please stop by and say hi. Best wishes in your retirement, Karen. Congratulations. This concludes our program honoring our Governor's Educators of the Year and our retirees. I'd like to thank all of the Educators of the Year for their continued dedication to the students of Readington, and I'd like to offer our retirees the best in the next chapter of their lives. Thank you so much, everybody, and one more round of applause for all of our retirees and Teachers of the Year. At this time, we have one last recognition. Gargi Adhikari, a special education teacher at Hollenbrook, is also being honored tonight for 2 outstanding accomplishments. First, Gargi was selected to present a workshop on using universal design for learning to modify science lessons to make the lessons accessible for all, including students with special needs. She was scheduled to present at the National Science Teacher Association Conference in Boston, Massachusetts in April. And like many other conferences, it was postponed due to COVID-19. But this is nevertheless an extraordinary accomplishment. Second, Gargi was selected by the New Jersey Department of Education to present a science lesson on NJTV's program, Learning Live. This is where she taught a lesson on Earth and human activity. All of her hard work paid off in a wonderful virtual lesson geared toward accessibility to New Jersey's most diverse population. I understand that her colleague, Mrs. Raza, has joined us tonight to say a few words about Gargi's accomplishments also. So I'll turn it over to Mrs. Raza.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hart. Tonight, I am thrilled that my friend and co-teacher, Gargi Adhikari, is being recognized for her important work for the NSTA and for having been chosen to teach science for NJTV. Now, Mrs. A is a humble person, so she does not do all of this work for accolades. No, she does the work because she is absolutely passionate about science and teaching. And it is the good fortune of her students, past and present, that this passion is so contagious. I know that her students would agree that Mrs. A makes magic in the classroom. For the subject, Mrs. A transforms her students into true thinking scientists. They question, plan, investigate, and draw conclusions. They keep rich, detailed notebooks. They engage in intelligent and respectful argumentation. And to quote many of the students, Mrs. Adhikari is the reason I love science. But besides sharing her passion for science with students, Mrs. A shares her expertise with teachers through day-to-day discussions, by running Teacher Academy courses, and as mentioned, by presenting to the NSTA and creating lessons for NJTV. Now, as passionate as she is about science, there is one thing that Mrs. A is even more passionate about, and that is her students. She holds the bar very high for our students, and one by one, they reach that bar and climb even higher because she believes in them. So they believe in themselves. And that is probably the most important lesson I have learned from her. And so, my friend Gargi, you know that each and every day I look up to you for being a science guru and for being a master educator. But I am extremely grateful for this time tonight when we can all celebrate you and let you know how very, very proud of you we all are. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Raza. Thank you, Gargi, for all of your hard work. And one last thank you to all of the Governor's Educators of the Year and our retirees. Congratulations and best wishes. At this time, I'm going to continue moving forward with my superintendent's report and with the board agenda. I just want to let the Board of Education know that our closeout final plans are in place for closing out the school year amid the current circumstances. As I've let you know before, June 19th and June 22nd are final teacher days, as well as final parent days to come and pick up items and drop off items from school. You'll know that tomorrow, if not by Friday, surely all of the principals will be sending out letters to all of the parents with instructions on how to safely drop off materials at school and pick up any student materials that were left back in March. So we are bringing this school year to a close. That concludes my superintendent's report. And I will, if we want to take a minute, you're welcome to stay, everyone, for the rest of the meeting. But if you'd like to drop off, please feel free. And I'll turn the agenda back over to Mrs. Simon.
Sometimes it's difficult to unmute. Okay, thank you, Dr. Hart, and congratulations, everyone. We are now open to the public, limited to action items on the agenda. You would need to unmute if you'd like to speak. If you're on the phone, it would be, is it pound or star 6? Star 6?
It's star 6. Yep.
Star 6.
Star
Okay.
6.
Not hearing any, we'll move along. We have correspondence since our last meeting. That was one, and it was regarding the nationwide protest. Administrative reports. Can I get a motion to adopt 1.01 to 1.02, please?
So moved.
Second, Ray.
Anna and Ray?
Anna and Ray.
Yep.
Got it. Thank you. Are there any questions on those items? Not hearing any. Oh. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Hample,
Yes.
Rob McCallan,
Yes.
Carolyn Pogorski,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace, Eric Swirling,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
or Simon.
Yes.
Passes.
There was a message. Robin, did you see?
Yeah, there's a, Mrs. Simon, there's a message that Dylan Peanut would like to speak.
Mr. Peanut, is that regarding any of the agenda items that you wanted to talk about? If it's regarding the agenda items, that would be discussing now. If it's another matter, there is another open discussion at the end of the meeting.
So it's my son. He's trying to unmute from the other room on his own. He tried to do it earlier during the public session. I can't be in there helping him unmute, so.
Aw.
I'm unmuted. I don't know.
There he is.
Okay, Dylan, you're unmuted.
Okay. My name is Dylan Hample, and I am proud that Mrs. Lewis won the Governor's Educator of the award year. What? Educator of the Year award.
This is the best. Thank you, Dylan. Okay. Minutes. Can I get a motion to adopt 2.01 to 2.02, please?
So moved, Anna.
Second, Ray.
Okay, thank you. Are there any changes to the minutes that are needed? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Hample,
Yes.
Rob McCallum,
Yes.
Carolyn Pogorski,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Eric Rolling,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes. Did Tom join yet? Has anybody seen him? He said he was going to be late. Okay. Finance and facilities. Can I get a motion to adopt 3.01 to 3.22?
So moved, Ray.
Ray?
Second, Anna.
Thank you. We had a committee report, right? No.
Miss
you have one?
Simon, just on the aside, there's a parent who'd like to speak of one of the teachers as well. I don't know if you want to wait till after or do that now.
We can do it now. Sure.
Okay, Kelly Stevens.
I think that was a Karen Weiss.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a couple.
Yes, hi. This is Karen Weiss and Jeffrey Weiss, and we wanted to speak on behalf of Mrs. Adhikari. We felt she was an outstanding teacher this year, but when the COVID hit, she really stepped up. She's the only teacher that we know of that was on Google Meet with the kids or Zoom meetings from 9 to 12 o'clock, running a class like it was a regular class, and then she was available anytime after that. So we both wanted to say congratulations, and she really deserves it. I have children that are 27 and 30 also, and I have never met a teacher that has gone above and beyond like Mrs. Adhikari. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right. Ray, there was not a report, right?
There is actually.
There is? Okay. You want to go ahead?
Yep. We met on Thursday, May 28th. Oh, hold on, I lost it. For the 2019-20 capital projects, as previously reported under the previous minutes, there was a change order issue. The architect did give the district a 50% credit or $460, so this issue is considered resolved. For the upcoming capital projects for 2021, the Three Bridges boiler project has begun, so the demolition is occurring now. The roof project begins in 2 weeks. However, some block work has begun. Couple items still continuing is the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Act grant and the LED lighting project at White House and Three Bridges. And there's other maintenance and IT summer projects that are being planned and prioritized. There was some discussion among the committee about the sale of Chromebooks to students if the parents requested. There's some legal implications that would need to be researched along with logistics on which Chromebooks would be offered. There's a possibility that these Chromebooks will be needed in the fall if virtual learning continues. So the committee felt the district should not sell any at this time, but review the option next year. Summer meal delivery, the committee decided not to pursue the option of providing summer meal delivery. This would have been a new service provided by the district. The district will provide a list of other options should a parent request summer meal delivery. For a budget update, Mr. Bohm updated the committee with the New Jersey Treasurer's Report, May 2020. Basically, this report reflects a reduction in state aid of approximately $150,000 for the next school year's budget, 2021. And the committee reviewed options to absorb this decrease, and there's no recommendation currently. The committee also discussed the following legislation with no recommendation currently. There's a 180-day law. There's health benefit changes ad hoc. There's health benefit Chapter 78 relief, township remittance, and furloughs. But again, no recommendation currently. And then the finance agenda items are normal in nature or have been explained above. And the bill list is normal in nature, and committees are recommending approval of the items and the bills lists. And the next meeting is scheduled for July 8th at 8:30.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the minutes or the agenda items?
This is Eric. I have one question.
So the committee discussed the possibility of summer meal delivery. Is that correct, Ray?
The option of, yes.
I did notice that item 3.15 was the excess current revenue and the potential return of that. And have we done, an analysis of what the true need is of the district and some of the residents for those meals? I mean, apparently there are many, many demands on revenue. I understand that. But we do have at 3.15 some excess revenue. And it's just something to think about.
We discussed it in length. It's just, it would be something new for the district. I mean, it's something that we have not done before. It's I guess the option has been out there before. It'd be something new. There is a cost to it, a fairly significant cost for the summer. And there are other options that can be provided for the families, which was what we deemed as a better option versus the school providing too.
Well, I mean, I understand it is new, and I don't know the extent of, I do not know the extent of hunger in our community. But we are in a new time. We are in an unprecedented time right now. And I don't know how much it impacts upon our honestly relatively affluent community. But it's, just because we've never done it before doesn't mean that in these unprecedented times we shouldn't do it. And so I think that, the question of what would it cost, what would it take, what is the need, if there's an opportunity to think it through. I realize this is an extremely late date to ask this question, probably much too late, but I just thought I needed to say it because my conscience demanded it.
No, and the committee felt the same way. Our conscience was there with us too. It's just, I think the cost, and again, not everything is about cost, but again, we are on a limited budget, finite budget. I think it was about $20,000 for the summer. Should parents contact the school and ask, that very question, are the schools providing this service? There are other options, and I feel those options would probably be better. I think they'd be better served than if the school was providing that service.
So the sum total cost of this program would be $20,000? Is that correct?
I believe that was the number that was thrown out, because you hire there's, again, you have to hire Mashio's food service. You have to have the bus drivers or someone to deliver it. Bus drivers are not normally delivering this type of stuff. There's no other reason for to have the bus drivers, so we'd have to bring them special.
No, I mean, look, I understand that there's it doesn't just mystically appear in a food replicator. I understand that there are many things that go into it. But the sum total you stated is $20,000. I'm just, as a number, I had no idea whether it would be 55,000, 500,000. I had no clue the magnitude. But look at 3.15. Look at the sums of money in 3.15. Compare the two. That's my opinion.
Just
Okay.
as I'm sorry, Ray.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. The other thing that's the unknown at this point that we discussed too in committee is exactly the impact of further state aid reduction too. We have some preliminary numbers right now, but we as a committee in finance really looked at every single dollar, penny about if there's further state aid reductions, which we anticipate there could very well be, of where we could make up the differences in those costs to not affect, programs and personnel and things like that. It's, certainly a service that we considered. There certainly are options that we've provided to the families already for help through the township and other local services. And we are still kind of grappling with what our anticipated state aid cuts could be. And I think because of that pretty big unknown right now, that's why the committee deferred to consider other options before, one of the reasons, before we decided to make a commitment for something like this new. So I think, Ray, did I capture that too? Just the kind of unknown of the state aid cuts that could be coming in August too.
Yes.
Isn't the state aid cut something on the order of about $120,000?
As of now, there's no certainty that that will not go up.
Mm-hmm. We anticipate a finalized number on August 25th.
Now, the numbers in 3.15 are not to exceed. So that would be the maximum amount. But what are the actual numbers? It says, 1.5, 0.4, and $100,000. So the total there would be not to exceed $2 million included in 3.15. Do we have any idea whether, not to exceed could be anywhere from 30 cents to $2 million? Do we have any idea what the actual number is? Rough, I should say an approximation, a ballpark number.
I missed some of that question, but I'll also defer to Jason too for 3.15, because aren't we required to take these and put them in our reserve accounts? Jason, this is for reserves, correct? Which is kind of a different conversation than I think what we're talking about.
Yeah, so Eric's question surrounds July and August meals providing to free and reduced. The money that you're talking about in 3.15, in essence, expires on June 30th. It goes into surplus at that time. It cannot be appropriated into the next school year, into 2021. So any excess money as the end of this school year cannot be used next year in July and August to help finance meal delivery. They're apples and oranges, so to speak. We will have excess funds at the end of this school year, based on my understanding of where the budget is ending. The numbers in 3.15, as you mentioned, are not to exceed. So this resolution is required to be on a board agenda before June 30th, in an amount not to exceed. The auditors will determine what the actual numbers are with the district sometime in August, and allocate to these specific areas, as well as to surplus, which goes into funding our budget in 21-22. So we have funds that we generate at the end of the year that actually support our current budget. So the district needs to generate a certain surplus each year to maintain our existing budget. Without definitive numbers over a certain dollar amount for certain, I would not feel comfortable using those funds at this time, nor can they be transferred into next school year. But it's an independent conversation whether or not we want to do meal service next school year in some capacity, or in the future. I think it's just a separate conversation from the budget, because the budget in 3.15 is this school year and summer meals is next school year, and they're not intertwined.
Okay. I've said my piece.
Okay. Are there any other questions on the agenda items or the minutes? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ray Egbert.
Yes.
Carol Hample.
Yes.
Rob McHale. Carolyn Pogorski,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Eric
back.
Ferrell,
I think Eric hit the wrong
Instead
hang
of
up
mute.
button. Yeah.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes.
Passes.
Eric
All right.
is back, by the way.
So we have education and technology. Can I get a motion to adopt 4.01 to 4.03, please?
So moved, Anna.
Is there a second?
Second, Ray.
Thank you. We have minutes.
Yes. So the Ed Tech Committee met on June 4th at 8:30 a.m. The first item we discussed were sharing inquiry projects, which was very interesting. This is an opportunity where teachers take something that they're passionate about, so kind of like a passion project, and they spend the year working through it on, what they want to do, how they analyze data, what they found, and then what they did to change it. And it was very interesting. If you click on the link from the minutes of the meeting, it's very interesting to see what they had to do. But the inquiry projects was a great intro into like self-learning and passion projects, basically. So next year, there will be teacher workshops over the summer, and any teachers who are interested will do a 3-day workshop with a span over the 2020-2021 school year. Remote learning going forward. What ended last week was the parent teacher student surveys. So the results of that will be forthcoming. But based on the results of those surveys, the task force will be reopened utilizing the data from the surveys. Preliminarily, it will be to analyze traditional in-school learning, various hybrid models such as half days, every other day for different students, and then virtual learning. So depending on where we end up in September, how that will go forward. Curriculum revisions, on the agenda, you'll see Spanish grades 7 and 8 curricula. We've already done grade 6 because they split up grade 6, 7, and 8. So these curriculum are the grade 7 and 8. So condensing the overview sections, the assessment data that will be changed for the different grades, reorganization of the core materials and supplemental materials. And then the science grades 6 to 8, the interdisciplinary connections and technology have been added, and the assessments. The behavior disabilities program is moving on to RMS. The students who were using the program in Hollenbrook School have moved on. The students who are using the BD program and are now in grades 5 through 7, and that's why we're moving it from Hollenbrook School to RMS. The summer substitute training. Last year we did a pilot program. It went very well. So this year we're going to require it for all substitutes. There will be training offered in July and then again in October as a half-day session. So if they were not on the curriculum or not able to attend in July, they can take it in October. Professional development. So the summer courses so far for July, we're focusing on technology. And because all the sessions filled up immediately, there was a second session offered for technology specifically in June. So the waitlisted staff got first dibs on the June sessions. And for August, we have yet to see what's going to be offered for the PD. And our next meeting will be in August, but the date has yet to be determined.
Sorry. Are there any questions on the minutes or the agenda items? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Hample,
Yes.
Rob McCallum,
Yes.
Carolyn Pogorski,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Eric Zerling,
Yes.
Anna Chin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes.
Passes.
We had another comment from the public. The person's been waiting patiently for us to finish that vote. So if you want to go ahead now.
Go ahead, Ms. Lamarca. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. Sorry about that. There was a little confusion about when I could speak. I didn't want to leave the meeting without acknowledging Mrs. Adhikari. I just want to say she is the hidden gem in Reddington schools, and anybody who gets to have her is so lucky. And even though my son's in 8th grade and had her almost 4 years ago, she is part of the reason he completely turned. She made him realize how smart he was. He's a very strong student now, and I really credit her for his success. You're amazing.
Thank you very much.
Oh, can you say something?
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
I'd just
Dan.
like to thank Miss Adhikari for helping me be a better student, because I'm doing way better because of her.
It's wonderful to hear.
Thank you.
It looks like there's another person, William, would like to say something.
I just want to say Mrs. Adhikari is the best teacher I ever had. She taught me so much about science and language arts that I can be better at it. And she had so much confidence into me that I was determined I could do so much better than the other years.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Miss Adhikari. You are the best.
Awesome. Okay, moving on to personnel. Can I get a motion to adopt 5.01 to 5.27, please?
So moved.
Anna?
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have minutes.
We, the committee met on May 28th. We discussed staffing, enrollment, the COVID-19 state aid impact, some personnel matters, agenda items, which are new hire, the virtual ESY curriculum writing and summer PD. And our next meeting is going to be on July 8th at 10 in the morning.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions on the minutes or the agenda items?
This is Eric. I'd like to just comment on item 5.27, the hiring of Betsy Freeman to fill the coordinator of green initiatives and sustainability. That's a wonderful opportunity for the district. Betsy is an inspired choice, and she will do good things for the district. I'm very excited for that choice.
Excellent.
Laura, there's also a correction that wanted to be highlighted for resolution 5.11.
Okay. 5.11. The corrections are for Mary Beth Schwartz. Instead of 16 days, it's supposed to be 20 days. For Melissa Spass, instead of 16 days, it's supposed to be 20 days. For Brian O'Neill, it's supposed to be 20 days. Is that accurate, Jason?
That's
Donna?
correct. That's correct.
Okay, so that is a minor revision. And that is on 5.11. Are there any questions on those agenda items? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ray Egbert,
Oh, yes.
Carol Hampel,
Yes.
Rob McKalen,
Yes.
Callan Pogorski,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Abstain from 5.07, yes to the rest.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Eric Zerling,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Yes.
Passes.
Communication. Can I get a motion to adopt 6.01, please?
So moved, Ray.
Second, Anna?
Thank you. And we had a committee report.
Yes, we did. The committee met on May 26th. We have 4 policies that are recommended for first read tonight. Policy 1581, domestic violence, policy and regulation. It's additional guidance from an old policy to provide employees assistance through an unpaid leave, and also a staff member for support under the title of HRO. It is a mandated policy. Policy 2422, health and physical education, some additions to the curriculum requirements. It's a bit of questioning of the curriculum being underneath the health and PE umbrella. But a lot of this was discussed in Ed Tech as to where the individual curriculum best fits into the subject areas. This was mandated as well. Policy 8210, school year. Policy 8220, school day. Regulation 8220 on school closings. The board will approve start and end times of school days, as well as the calendar going forward by May 1st. And policy 8462, reporting potential missing or abused children. Major changes needed in signage provided in the building, so it will need to be posted. We discussed board goal. Number 1, efforts to extend our district recognition beyond our locality. Some things that were highlighted: green ribbon, state and national award ceremonies for RMS. We would still like to have some sort of in-person recognition in September or whenever we are back. Dr. Hart recently submitted 2 proposals to national conferences, and we're waiting to hear back at this time. And Mr. Tumalo and Dr. Hart were accepted to present at an NJ conference, but of course canceled due to COVID-19. We discussed press release topics for the next several months, and our next meeting is June 11th at 3 p.m. For once, that wasn't mine. It usually is.
Goodness, I am so sorry. Need a moment. Okay. So are there any questions on the minutes or the policies? Not hearing any. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Hampel,
Yes.
Rob McKalen,
Yes.
Callan Pogorski,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Eric Swirling,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon. Passes.
Unfinished business. Anybody have to discuss anything? New business from the board? Not hearing any. We are now open to the public. Anything on or off the agenda? Robin, did you want to read comments?
There's a lot for Miss Adhikari to have to read, but I believe that Mrs. Drotleff wanted to say a couple words as well. Emma Drotleff, are you
Hi,
still
everyone. Yes, can you hear me okay?
on?
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank Ms. Adhikari. I meant to say a little something when William was speaking, but he muted, so I couldn't. But I wanted to say something because she's been a great teacher with William, very patient, and has improved his self-confidence so much, not only for LA, like they say LA, but also science, but in general. And I really want to thank her for all her dedication and going above and beyond, not only helping William, but I know I can see that with all her students. So I really want to thank her and recognize her because it's well deserved and she is great. What can I say? She's phenomenal. So I want to thank her very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Or anything else? Robin, are we waiting for anyone else?
No, I believe there were a lot of comments typed in, so hopefully, Miss Adhikari, you have a chance to read those before you sign off this evening.
Okay.
Mrs. Simon, may I just say something about one of the retirees? I had the privilege of being a student of Miss Kozel's and then getting to know her many years later as a parent. And I know she probably is not on, but hopefully someone will let her know to look and see it. I just wanted to let her know that she made phys ed fun for us back all those years ago. And my kids had just as much fun recently with her as a teacher. I know that she'll be very missed in the district. And I felt very lucky to have had the privilege of knowing her in different stages of my life. And I really want to wish her the best in everything that comes up in her next chapter. Thank you for letting me have a moment.
All right. If there's nothing else from the public, the meeting, our agenda now goes to executive session. So I would like to get a motion to adjourn to executive session in accordance with the Sunshine Law to discuss a HIB hearing, negotiations, and the superintendent evaluation for approximately 90 minutes, at which time the board expects to return to public session where action may be taken. The matters discussed will be made public if and when the circumstances requiring confidentiality no longer exist. However, it is not presently known when such circumstances will exist. Can I get that motion, please?
So moved.
Anna?
Seconded. Carolyn.
Who is that? Carolyn? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Ray Egbert,
Yes.
Carol Ample,
Yes.
Rob McCallan,
Yes. Yes.
Alan Pogorski,
Yes.
Andrew Saunders,
Yes.
Thomas Wallace,
Yes.
Eric Swirling,
Yes.
Anna Shin,
Yes.
Laura Simon.
Okay.
Board members, everybody, you've got a couple of different links. Please, let's start in link number 3. It's the discussion link. Link 3.
board members also remember to sign off of the public meeting.